Good morning again. My name is Pam Schumann. I'm the worship associate for today at Horizon. We're excited to welcome you to our worship service this morning. We're so glad you're here with us today, whether you're joining in person or virtually, and whether you're here for the first time or for longer than you can remember. Here at Horizon, we welcome people of all faiths and of no faith in particular. Whoever you are, wherever you are on your journey, you are welcome among us. So we have a couple of announcements today. The first one has to do with the fact that this is an intergenerational service, so the children stay in their seats for the entire service, and it's going to be interactive, you will see. Second notice is that please join the Horizon Pagans after worship today in the labyrinth out there for a ritual to celebrate the spring festival Ostara. And the story today, as I mentioned, intergenerational, interactive, and it's called The Hare's Gift. It's based on a legend, and there's many special elements to worship today, including this one. In your seats, you will find that you have a square of cardstock and markers. During our service today, and I think I took mine out, it's this little blue card, little cardstock. During the service today, you will be asked to design your little tile or square in a way to show what you love most about our Horizon community. Maybe you'd like to draw the people who make Horizon special to you. No artistic talent necessary. Or maybe you'd like to depict something like the music or our justice work or groups that are important to you. If drawing is difficult for you, ask a neighbor to draw for you, or simply write down your thoughts. That's fine. These papers will be picked up after our joys and sorrows, and so our ushers can create a mural from our work by the end of the service, and you'll get to see it as you walk out today. And now we will have our call to worship.
Our call to worship this morning comes from the writings of the Reverend Dr. Hope Johnson. This is called We Are One. We are one, a diverse group of proudly kindred spirits here not by coincidence, but because we choose to journey together. We are active and proactive. We care deeply. We live our love as best we can. We are one, working, eating, laughing, playing, singing, storytelling, sharing, and rejoicing, getting to know each other, taking risks, opening up, questioning, seeking, searching, trying to understand, struggling, making mistakes, paying attention, asking questions, listening, living our answers, learning to love our neighbors, learning to love ourselves, apologizing and forgiving with humility, and being forgiven through grace, creating the beloved community together. We are one. Come, let us worship together. We light our chalice this morning with words by the Reverend Laura Thompson. She writes, "Across the distance, the light from within me shines, sending love to all. Across the distance, your light is fuel that warms me and helps me to keep my own light burning. Together, we keep the flame of community burning bright." I invite you to join with me in saying together the words of our affirmation. Love is the doctrine of our church. The quest for truth is its sacrament, and service is its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge in freedom, to serve humanity in harmony with the earth, thus do we covenant together. I invite you to rise, either in body or in spirit, and join in singing our opening hymn, Enter, Rejoice, and Come In.
Enter, rejoice, and come in. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Today will be a joyful day. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Open your ears to the song. Open your ears to the song. Today will be a joyful day. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Open your hearts, everyone. Open your hearts, everyone. Today will be a joyful day. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Don't be afraid of some change. Don't be afraid of some change. Today will be a joyful day. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Today will be a joyful day. Enter, rejoice, and come in.
This morning, we welcome you in the spirit of celebration and play. And the story we are about to tell also comes to you in the spirit of worship, that is, worth shape, giving shape to the things that have worth to us as a religious community. The wisdom in the story of hare and monkey is just one shape, one form of our shared values. Today, children and youth, except for High School Owl, will remain in the sanctuary the entire service. And there will be lots to do for all ages to create worship together today. Drawing, coming up to the chancel to create the story with us, and by making music together. With all this in mind, let us begin the story.
Many years ago, before we were born, before our grandmothers and our grandfathers were born, before our grandmothers' grandmothers were born, no one lived in towns or villages. Instead, everyone just set up a hut in any old place. It might not have been the best setup, but it never occurred to anyone to live in any other way. No one noticed that having their huts scattered here and there here and there made things a little lonely and made the animals behave less kindly to each other. All of that changed when Hare built his hut and brought gifts to the world.
First, there was Hare. So can Hare come on up? Hare lived in a corner of the world far away from where we live today, over mountains and oceans and treetops, on the edge of a rainforest. Monkey, who you will meet in a minute, also lived there. These two creatures had put their huts near each other under the shadow of the forest. Hare was happy with his small but comfortable hut. It gave him a cozy place to eat and to sleep at night, and a place to eat his greens when he got hungry. Hare was a simple creature, but also wise in his own way, and was prone to forgetfulness. Living alone gave Hare plenty of time to think and daydream and wander around the beautiful mountains and rainforest where he lived.
There also was Monkey. Monkey's hut was the same size as Hare's, but Monkey was not happy with her hut. She thought that it was too crowded and not very pretty. Monkey's hut had cracks in the roof and a baobab pod that let in baobab pods and fireflies. Of course, baobab pods and fireflies are both lovely, so it's not a bother to have them in one's hut. But that's how Monkey was, a little grouchy, a little gruff, and in fact, Monkey and Hare were often at odds with the few times they had dealings with each other.
But no one really noticed her grouchy disposition because, frankly, each animal lived by themselves and seldom visited each other except on rare occasions to trade for goods or services. Such was life for all the animals at this time: quiet, solitary, and a little hard, and no one knew how to live any other way.
Throughout today's service, we will sing refrains to the tune of We Are Dancing Sarah's Circle. The words are located on an insert in your order of service. Let's listen to the melody one time, and then please join me in our first song response, which is Here We Seek and Find Our Story. 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 Praises to this world.
So this part of the story finds both of our characters sitting in their huts. So one day, Monkey was sitting in her hut, thinking grumpily how small it was. She didn't mind the plain walls or the dirt floor, but it did feel quite small. She was so busy thinking these grumpy thoughts that she never noticed that one of the cracks in the hut's roof had turned into a sizable hole. She didn't notice that she was sitting right under it, and she certainly didn't notice that there was a grand and heavy baobab branch right over the hole. Suddenly, a strong breeze came along, knocking a big baobab pod through the hole, and thump, it fell right on Monkey's head.
That does it, exclaimed Monkey. The pod that thumped Monkey on the head was the last straw. Monkey decided then and there to set up a new hut that would be the biggest and grandest ever made, with a sturdy roof to boot. She searched and finally came upon a good site near sweet water and in the cool shade of an enormous baobab tree, and set out to build the strong-roofed hut. Yes, Monkey said to herself, nodding. Yes, this is the perfect spot for my new hut.
So as we gather our offering this morning, let us let our joy guide our giving to this community. This morning's offering will now be joyfully given and received.
as our story restarts, there's been lots and lots of construction going on in Monkey's neighborhood. In fact, the small hut is going to be replaced by a big hut. Goodness, it's so large, the construction crew is having some problems. So now, at this time, Hare and Monkey can return. Hare, this is your new hut. Now, while our characters are getting into place and Monkey is settling into her new hut, I'd like to invite the young and the young at heart to play some parts. I'm going to show you some of the parts you can play, and I'm going to ask you to sit along the steps of the chancel. So at this time, I'd like to invite our young folks and the young at heart to come play some parts and sit along the chancel steps. So this hut took a long time to construct. Monkey worked hard for an entire moon to complete her new hut. In time, it was finally finished, and it was indeed grand. It was tall and spacious, with the most wonderful colors. Monkey was proud of her new hut and even decided to have a rare feast to show it off. She went around to all the other huts and spoke to all the animals and invited everyone. And she even invited Hare. And then the animals stayed to have a good time. And for the feast Monkey had prepared, everyone, that is, except for Hare, who had forgotten and did not come at all. As the animals sat down to eat, Hare left for the other side of the mountain.
Please join me in singing our second shared response, which is, In Our Circle, Who Is Inside? In our circle, who is inside? In our circle, who is outside? Let us make the circle larger, neighbors, family, all.
All right, now our feast is complete, and animals, you can return to the steps. And we will need Hare back in his hut. All right, are we ready? I think we're ready. So let's continue the story. The next day after the feast, Hare and Monkey were sitting in their huts and noticed each other from afar. They got up and met each other halfway between. Monkey, who was insulted by Hare for not coming to the feast, went to him and angrily demanded to know why he hadn't come to admire his new hut. The truth was, Hare had forgotten all about Monkey's feast. He'd been sidetracked by a patch of juicy berries on the other side of the mountain. It was only when he returned home that he remembered the event. But Hare was too embarrassed to admit this, and thoughtlessly tried to fluster his way out of Monkey's confrontation.
Hare hesitated as different responses ran through his head, and then felt the anger rise up in him to match Monkey's heated words. The words poured out of Hare's mouth unbidden. Hare said, "Bah, grand new hut, huh? Why should I have come over to see your hut? I could build a better one in half the time it took you. As for your feast, Why should I have come to your feast and be bored? I bet I could give a feast that would make everyone forget yours.
Monkey was stunned, and her feelings were hurt by Hare's words, but she didn't say so. Part of her wanted to be tough and to give Hare a hard time. So Monkey stepped back with a smug smile and crossed her arms over her chest. Monkey said, "A better hut in half the time? I don't think so. It took me a full moon to build and decorate my hut. And how could you give a feast better than mine? You can't even climb trees, and you don't even have opposable thumbs." If a challenge is what you want, a challenge is what you shall have. I dare you to build a new hut in half a moon. Afterwards, your feast had better be a good one. If you fail to do either of these things, I won't be your friend anymore.
Monkey was feeling terrible about the mean things she said to Hare, and still was hurt that Hare hadn't come to celebrate her new hut. She wondered how Hare would be able to build his hut in so short a time. She really didn't want to give up her friendship with Hare. She went back to her grand new hut feeling uneasy and very lonely. But Hare had taken Monkey's threat to withdraw her friendship to heart and was worried. Hare was lonely too, and the thought of losing Monkey's company opened a wide, empty space inside of him and made him feel sad.
Hare thought to himself while pacing back and forth between the huts, "You've really done it this time, Hare. When will you learn to think before you speak, or at least speak kindly? And why didn't I just go to the feast to celebrate Monkey's new hut? I suppose I was jealous, but now I'm really in a pickle." And Hare sat down in his hut to think about what on earth he was going to do now. All our animals can take their seats in the front row, and we'll be calling you back up in just a few minutes. That includes Hare and Monkey also. We'll be back.
Just like Monkey and Hare, sometimes we say things that we don't mean. Like Monkey, we allow our hurt feelings to turn into harsh words. Like Hare, we don't see how much other people need us to be kind to them. We forget that it's important to tell our friends and neighbors how we're feeling and to listen to what they say back to us. Our sharing of joys and sorrows is important because it allows us to stop every week to show the soft side of our hearts. It helps us to remember that everybody, even gruff, grumpy people, feel sad sometimes. We listen to remember that joys and sorrows in life are sometimes woven together so closely that there is no separation. This is the time that we share, whether it be a happy celebration in life or a sad weight in your heart. So we'll take a moment of silence to let all of those things held in the quiet of our hearts have a place to be. Please join me in a time of silence. I invite you at this time to join me in an embodied prayer. So please move in whatever way feels right to you this morning. I invite you to picture in your mind's eye what we often call the spirit of life, the spirit that is present in all things, like the baobab trees and the butterflies. And let your fingers embody that motion. Picture the spirit coming down from the sky, So embody that motion in whatever way feels right to you. Picture the spirit that blows down from the mountain and burns up in the fire, and take your hands and raise them up. We give thanks today for all of the people in this sanctuary and at home who are part of this community. They have strong arms to hold us when we need a hug. Can you wrap your arms around yourself in a hugging motion? Can you feel that embrace? They have a steady presence when our lives are shaken. They remind us to be wise with our words, generous with our actions, and thankful for the gifts in our lives. May we each become the person we want to be, and in doing so, may we, as a loving people, become the congregation we want to become. Let us draw our hands now to our hearts, receiving these words, drawing them inward in a posture of gratitude. Let us take a breath here. May it all be so. Amen.
Please sing our third meditation with me. If I stumble, will you help me? 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 Will you hear my cry?
Do you remember the paper tile and art supplies we talked about at the beginning of the service? The ushers will be picking them up soon, so please be sure to draw or write about what you love about Horizon to be displayed on our shared art piece at the back of the sanctuary. Now, let us return to our story and have Hare and Monkey return to the chancel. We left off with Hare and Monkey sitting in their huts, Monkey in her brand new one and Hare in his old small one, after Hare said angry words and Monkey had hurt feelings. At this time, the other animals can also sit on the steps to await their parts.
Hare was still stumped as to how to get out of his predicament. He had too much pride to patch things up with Monkey, so it seemed his only option was to build a hut more beautiful than hers, and in half a moon. Hare wasn't strong enough to build a hut by himself. He did not have enough ginger roots stored to trade with others for their labor. So what could he do? Well, this is what happened. Hare thought and thought and thought some more, and suddenly jumped up and ran to all of the other animals scattered across the land to ask everyone to come and help him. To get them to come, he promised everyone marvelous and unheard of gifts and a wonderful feast when all of the work was finished. All they had to do was come live near him and help him for half a moon.
Well, there were lots of other animals arrived, so this is a great time for people to come and play a part in this worship service. So grab a mask and come on up here. So the other animals arrived, one family at a time, and Hare was flooded with gratitude. He stood up, he thanked them profusely, and he shook their paws and their wings and showed them where to set up their own huts. And so when everyone arrived, they set to work. Then Hare talked to every animal to find out what they did best. So we're going to have some construction going on the stage over here.
And work they did. Hare got the best woodworkers to set the poles to make the new hut, and then to set the poles to make the new huts for all the other huts, for all the other animals that have come. Hare got the best painters to paint the walls, and the best artists to decorate them, and all the best cooks to prepare food for a feast.
All of the helpers were so busy that they didn't quite notice that Hare had left the work site and was doing something completely different off to the side. He wasn't straightening or setting poles. He wasn't painting. He wasn't even preparing food for the feast, although he planned to visit that lovely berry patch to pick enough berries for all the helpers, just not right now.
Instead, Hare was doing something completely different. He carefully searched around the woods and found a hollow log and a couple of sticks. And then he spent the entire half moon carving out the log. So it was just right. I wonder what he could be planning. Trusting that some great project will emerge from this mystery, let us sing our fourth response, and our actors can stay in their places.
Our fourth response is On and On, the Circle's Moving. On and on the circle's moving, on and on the circle's moving, on and on the circle's moving, we are climbing on.
Monkey watched curiously from her hut and patiently waited the half moon. At the end of the half moon, Monkey came to inspect the work, certain she would find a mess of construction with nothing going on. But Hare surprised her. Hare had a new hut. And curiously, it was looking very much like Monkey's. All the animals oohed and ahed, and they cheered upon seeing Hare's new hut.
And just how is this better than my hut? Demanded Monkey. Our huts look almost exactly the same.
Just look around and you'll see, said Hare. And there, arrayed around Hare's hut, were the huts of all the other animals, arranged in a circle, all facing east to the rising sun. And there were all the animals going about their business, laughing and talking and helping each other. My hut is better than yours, said Hare, because it was built by everyone together, and everyone lives near it. And now I can talk to and visit them whenever I want.
The animals who heard all this looked around and realized it was really great to live together, sharing, helping, and knowing each other. They didn't have to live scattered far apart from each other and be lonely. They could be a village, and that was Hare's first gift to the community. The first gift to the world, community.
Please join me for our fifth verse. Strong is what we make each other. Strong is what we make each each other. Strong is what we make each other. Strong is what we make each other. Neighbors, family, all.
All right, actors, will you return to the first row of chairs, and we promise you'll be back up very soon? Like those who helped Hare build her hut, we need to remember to stop and look around at our own community from time to time. Take a good look around right now and look at the people you've helped, the people you've learned with, the people you've broken bread with and shared with. It really is great to live together, and it really is a gift to make a village of our church where we make each other strong. This isn't just one of Hare's gifts. It is a gift that we've all received.
At this time, you are invited to turn in the tile you decorated with what you love most about our Horizon community. Your tile will join others on the board in the back of the sanctuary to form a mural, showing how we come together to form the church community. The ushers will now come around to pick up your tiles. If you have not yet finished, please leave it in your seat and it will be picked up and added to the mural after the service.
When our heart is in a holy place, when our heart is in a holy place, we are blessed with love and amazing grace. When our heart is in a holy place, when we trust the wisdom in each of us, every color, every creed and kind, and we see our faces in each other's eyes, then our heart is in a holy place. When our heart is in a holy place, when our heart is in a holy place, we are blessed with love and amazing grace. When our heart is in a holy place, when we tell the story from deep inside, and we listen with a loving mind, and we hear our voices in each other's words, then our heart is in a holy place. When our heart is in a holy place, when our heart is in a holy place, we are blessed with love and amazing grace. When our heart is in a holy place, when we share the silence of sacred space, and the God of our heart stirs within, and we feel the power of each other's faith, then our heart is in a holy place. When our heart is in a holy place, when our heart is in a holy place, we are blessed with love and amazing grace. When our heart is in a holy place, when our heart is in a holy place.
All right, our actors can return to the chancel. I would like Monkey and Hare standing up over here, please. And we appreciate all the extra animals that have participated. When Monkey saw that Hare had indeed built a better hut than hers, she lost her smile at that point. Secretly, she was relieved that she wouldn't have to follow through on her mean words about not being Hare's friend anymore. But she just said, you also promised a better feast than mine.
At this time, all the animals ran to get the food and drink that they had prepared. There was lots and lots of food to feast on, and the animals had a great feast together. Monkey was confused. She asked, "This is very much like the feast I hosted after I built my hut. How is this feast better than mine?"
Hare replied, "Because I didn't have to do it alone, and because no one had to do it all. Each could contribute what they cooked best, so the feast had everyone's favorite foods, and that made everyone happy, which of course let the storytellers relax and tell their best stories. As the people ate, they offered their food to Monkey. She was surprised at first, but then began to relax when she saw that the others just wanted her to feel welcome and wanted to share with her.
And so Monkey stayed with the new village as the sun dropped from the sky to just below the treetops, and that's how long the gathering lingered over story and fine food. Suddenly, Hare remembered that he hadn't yet shared his second gift. He slipped away and then was seen out dragging a hollow log and sticks.
Hare said, "So far this has been a pretty good feast, but I want to make it the best feast ever given. And it's also time for my next gift. Are you ready? To receive this gift, you'll have to be quiet and listen." And all the faces turned towards Hare. The crowd hushed in anticipation.
With that, Hare picked up his sticks and began to tap on the log with them. At first, he beat out a simple rhythm. Then he warmed up to more and more complex rhythms. Soon, the other animals began to twitch with the rhythm and sway from side to side. Other animals found logs like Hare's and empty baobab pods and joined Hare in his rhythms, copying him closely so they could also make these wondrous sounds.
So Hare brought the gift of music to the animals. Let us now create a music for our own community. At this time, our actors once again can take their spots on the first row, and don't worry, we will be calling you back soon.
Drummer and educator Arthur Hall writes that cooperation and collaboration are what unite a community. When we as a community drum together, sharing our spirit in the form of rhythm, it changes our relationships for the positive. The quality of the music is not based on the rhythmical expertise of the players, but on the quality of their relationship with the other people in the circle. The result is those magical musical moments where one powerful voice is created out of the many. And now, please bring out the instruments left for you at the end of your row.
Howdy. Deb will have y'all, and I will have y'all. And when you see us, then you can join. Yay? All right.
All right, we're going to get back to our story. Very good, everyone. We'll need Hare back by his log, and we are going to need Monkey back up front too, please. Okay, as we return to our story, we left off with Hare bestowing the gift of music to the animals. Can Hare tap out a beat we can dance to, kind of quietly? And can the other animals dance a little bit too this time by standing up and standing on the floor?
Suddenly, Monkey realized that she was being included in this new community, and there was no question that she belonged there with them. With happiness, Monkey jumped up and began to swing her body and move in a circle around the fire in time to the music. And before long, everyone joined her, dancing to the rhythm of the drum. The rhythm of the drum that Hare had invented and given to them. The animals danced and danced the night away.
Wow. Whew. Now, sometimes folks argue about all this. Some say that Hare really gave people three gifts: community, music, and dance, while others claim that the music and dance really only count as one. Grouchy and Gruff Monkey's gift was to discover that she could be part of the village. Perhaps the real gift was that each and every animal realized that by living, working, and sharing with each other in this new setup called a community, they were better, happier, and stronger together. But you know what I think? I think they're all right, although I'm sure Hare and Monkey would really enjoy the argument. And so now we come to the end of our story. Can we have a round of applause for today's actor? And thank you, actors. You may take your seats back with your families.
Our closing hymn is Let It Be a Dance, 311 in the Gray Hymnal. Let it be a dance we do. May I have this dance with you, through the good times and the bad times too. Let it be a dance. Let a dancing song be heard. Play the music, say the words, and fill the sky with sailing birds. Let it be a dance, let it be a dance, let it be a dance. Learn to follow, learn to lead. Feel the rhythm, feel the need. To reap the harvest, plant the seed. Let it be a dance. Let it be a dance we do. May I have this dance with you, through the good times and the bad times too. Let it be a dance. Let a dancing song be clasp in. Everybody learn to bend and willow with the wind. Let it be a dance, let it be a dance, let it be a dance. A child is born, the old must die. A time for joy, a time to cry. Take it as it passes by. Let it be a dance. Let it be a dance we do. May I have this dance with you, through the good times and the bad times too. Let it be a dance. Morning star comes out at night. Without the dark there is no light. If nothing's wrong, then nothing's right. Let it be a dance, let it be a dance, let it be a dance. Let the sunshine, let it rain. Share the laughter, bear the pain. And round we go again. Let it be a dance.
We extinguish our flame, but not our commitment to Horizon's mission to welcome radically, love boldly, grow spiritually, and serve courageously. We do this because we envision a beloved community filled with compassion, helping all to thrive in a just world.
Folks, I invite you to rise and to join hands. My hope for us as our time together ends, as we go forth from this place, is that we may be mindful of the many gifts that come into our lives in all their forms and give thanks. May it be so. Go in peace.